Okay, in this video, we're going to go over how to build a purchase loop in Dotloop for a buyer. I'm going to show you a couple tricks, and I'm going to show you how to really make it stand out compared to all the other contracts agents and sellers are going to see. So once you log into your Dotloop in your platform, just go and click on Add Loop. If you have an MLS number, go ahead and use it. It'll pull up more information and it'll populate more information without you having to type it in. It's really a nice feature with Dotloop. But in this property I'm going to use as a demonstration. I don't have one. Just picked a random property here. One thing, a lot of times you have to go in and add the Pensacola before it picks it up, but eventually Google Maps is going to pick it up. Just click on that, continue. If you have a photo and you want to upload it, you can do it right here, or you can do it later. I'm just trying to run through real quick and get the loop started. So your type, you're going to use a purchase. Status is going to be pre-offer right now. We don't have a price, we don't have a closing date. First thing you want to do is just go ahead and click on and get inside your actual loop. Go back up top, click on your address one more time, and here's where you want to build out your property information. What you want to do is you want to go get the tax ID and your legal description from your local county property appraiser's website and copy and paste and put that in here. So let's see here. I'm gonna go to mine real quick. Okay, so I'm here at my local Escambia County site. Put in this property. Should be enough. Okay, so I've got my seller's names and information here. And at the very top on our page is our parcel ID. So I want to copy and paste this, because you never want to type this stuff in. You will screw it up sooner or later if you do that. You want to always copy and paste if at all possible. Now a lot of times the legal description, which is somewhere down here, is going to be too big and too long. If that's the case, either put it in your additional terms section of your contract or just attach a totally separate addendum with the legal description all on that one page. Okay, so I got those two things entered. Make sure I hit the save button. I don't fill all this stuff out. You can. It's really not necessary right now. The biggest thing we want is when we start populating our contracts, we want the legal description and the parcel ID to be implemented automatically. We don't want to have to type that in every time. Okay, the next thing you want to do is really important, is you want to add your people. For instance, you want to add, you want to add your buyers, of course. They're your clients. And you're going to have your buyers, and you're going to have their email addresses, their phone numbers in here. You're going to put that. But what you want to do is you want to make sure and put your seller information, because that's just more info that's going to be populated. Now remember, you don't need the seller's email addresses. You don't need their phone numbers, just their names from the county records. So we're going to pull this husband and wife here. And what I do is copy and paste it. I'm not a fast typer, so this is a lot easier for me. And then I'm just going to, real quick, copy and paste and put the buyer's info. And this is going to be our seller, okay? And like I said, you don't need their information because you don't represent them. You just want to put the seller's names throughout the contract whenever you type something up. So you want to add another one. You want to go add the wife, same thing. Go this way, surely, yes. So add persons. We're going to do this. Then I'm going to do it one more time. So we have seller. Okay, so now I'm going to add my buyer. Just make somebody up. Bill. Okay, here's where you'd put their email address. The role is going to be buyer. If you have the information, fill it out here. It's just the more the merrier. Okay, so I have my people added. I have my information added for the property, or as much information as I need right now. So let's say I talk to the clients and we're going to put in a $100,000 offer. Well, you can go ahead and type that in right here. So we're putting in, let's say purchase price is going to be $100,000. Let's see, offer date, let's just say the offer date was, I don't know, whatever it was. I don't need that information, I don't care about that. I always use the property address. I never use the custom name. This way it keeps it systematic. Just get in the habit of using the property address. That's the way I like it, especially when I'm looking at a bunch of agents' contracts and stuff. I like it to kind of be systematic throughout without having a bunch of screwball names and stuff, which will happen with agents. They'll be just, you know, I always want the full address, and if you use property address, it'll keep it in a systematic format. Okay, I must have missed somewhere in here. Commissions, earnest money amount, there it is. 10,000. Okay, that's the only things I really care about putting in right now, because we're just going to go fill out a quick contract. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to go back up here, go back to my loop. So here's my folder. Now I always like to separate folders. So I'm going to go ahead and for this one, this is going to be my, I'm going to rename it. This is going to be my purchase contracts. Now, say that you're pulling this from the MLS and the seller has seller disclosures, other things, lead-based paint, HOA, those kind of forms. What I like to do is I like to add another folder and use just it for disclosures. So I have one for the purchase contract parts, and then I have one for disclosures. This would be like the seller disclosures, your lead-based paint, and that kind of stuff. And you could easily move this one right back on top of each other. Okay, so I'm going to add document. I'm going to go to my templates, and I'm going to be looking for buying as is package. Okay. So here's my as is contract. I need that right now. Say that that's all I need at this moment. We're not going to go into the other contracts because Dotloop's going to do the same thing. So what you want to do is you open it up. You go through here and you make sure all the information you have is in. There's purchase price, earnest money, closing date. Let's just say end of the month. Your buyer information, you got your seller names here for the contract, your legal description. So that's good enough. I don't want to type any of this stuff in here right now. And most of the contracts I have aren't going to have anything right here anyway. So there it is. It filled out all that information for you. So here's how you make your contract really different and stand out. And this is what I like to see on all my agent contracts, just because for that reason, because it really makes it stand out. It also makes it a lot easier to read. And I like to highlight areas that agents and sellers need to pay attention to, and I want to make sure that they catch this with their eye. So go to the very top line, click on it, and up here you're going to see your little alignment. I always hit middle, B for bold, and I'm going to hit this little A and change the color to blue. So I'm going to do this for each line basically through here. And why? Because it really makes the contract stand out, makes it look much more professional. And I've been teaching this to my agents for a long time, ever since I started using Dotloop, and it makes a big difference. So okay, so that's, you're going to go through and do that. Now, what I like to do for the purchase price, do the same thing first, bold. I like to sometimes highlight these with a color. It's only showing you this yellow right now because these are areas that it auto-populated, but it's not going to show up yellow until you go change the color. See, right now it's set to none, but I can make it stand out. So I just put a heavy highlighted background behind the 100K, because that's my purchase price. I want them, you know, to pay attention to that and it kind of stick out to them. Come down here and you got to do your total. And this figure doesn't really matter too much. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I'm still going to make it like that. I'm not going to highlight it though. And just say you know what title company you're going to be using, put all their information in here. If you don't know, you can just put seller's choice, to be determined. But if you know which title company or you know where you're putting your EMD, then put all the information here. Put their name, address, phone number, email. It looks good and it looks a lot more professional than having it blank. Just don't leave it blank. Down here, this line's going to be for your time of acceptance. This is whatever you want to use. Depends on the property, depends on offers, depends on how just how fast things need to work. But just say we can give them a couple days. I always do the same thing here. I want to center it, bold it, and make it blue. Closing date, same thing. I want to make sure it stands out. Now I like to highlight this one too because I want my closing date to stand out. So I got a purchase price that's gonna, you know, be standing out with the contract, then the closing date. Same thing down here, may not assign, just say they're going cash. Nothing here, nothing here. Okay, this is where on our contract we're gonna say who's gonna be paying and choosing the title company. So we're gonna say the seller is gonna pay and designate, so we check that box. Home warranty, just say no, there's not. The next place I'm really looking for is inspection days. And this is something I always want to highlight. So I never leave this blank. I teach my agents never leave this blank. We always want to put something in here. In my opinion, 15 days is way too long. So I always limit it to 10 or 7. Let's just say 10. Just so you know, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they only give 10 days. They won't give anything more. I mean, never. So this is just a good example. I never go over 10 because 10 is plenty of time. So I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to bold, blue, and I want this one to stand out. So, center. I'm going to make that stand out so everybody sees that, because that's one of the most important things to me in this contract. Okay, so if you have any addendums that are being attached to the contract, make sure you check them here. And remember, anything you check here, lenders and underwriters, they're going to want to see all the paperwork. So if it's on here, lead-based paint, it needs to be included with the package. If the property needs a lead-based paint because of its age, make sure you check the box and make sure you have one filled out. Additional terms, this is where you put anything else you need to be specific about. You know, just make sure, try to keep this simple, try to keep it clean. The more stuff you put in here, the worse it's going to look and the more deals it'll cost you. But the same thing, edit whatever you want. Seller to pay for, I don't know, sprinkler system, something crazy. Okay, so same thing. You want to make it, it probably doesn't look near as good maybe doing it centered on this category, but still going to make it blue, make it stand out. A lot of times down here, if I'm putting stuff, I'm going to make it yellow because I do want it to stand out, because I want to make sure they catch anything in these terms. But a lot of my contracts, you're not going to see anything written in here. Everything else is already spelled out in the contract. I don't need to slap sellers with it again and bring it, up to in front of them for the second time. So most of mine, you're not going to see much in here. Okay, and basically just make sure you put the broker information, fill out as much as you can here, and that's really it for the contract. It's that simple. So remember, the biggest thing, you want to center your boxes, you want to make your print bold, and you want to make sure and change it to blue so it really stands out. And when these are printed and when clients are getting them, trust me, agents and buyers and sellers alike, they just love the contracts because they look so much more professional. Anyway, hope this helps. Thanks.